do not know, I am a spiritual healer or energy healer, and some people like to call it most commonly a Reiki healer. I don't like calling myself a Reiki healer because Reiki is a particular method, and I don't use just a particular method. It would be like saying I'm only a yoga instructor, when in reality I'm a personal trainer and I do everything kind of thing. So I call myself a spiritual healer or energy healer, and sometimes faith healer, because without faith it's really impossible to heal with your hands, and that's what I do. So I'm just going to tell you a few of my favorite healings date that I can recall. So let's go to the beginning, I guess. I had a client who came in who had horrible back pain to the point that it took her time to get up in the morning. Like, she had to slowly roll out of bed and slowly move and stretch to just walk properly before she went about her day. And she saw me for a session, and she said that she kind of almost forgot that she had back problems because she was just going about her day, and she's like, wait a second, like, I've been for months now debilitated by this back pain and it's not there. So that was one of my healings. Another one was I had a friend who had taken the derma something shot. I can't remember what it is. It's some sort of birth control. It's a needle. It's pretty intense, and it can stop you from having your period amongst some other side effects. And so she had stopped having her period altogether, but she went off of the shot. She stopped taking the birth control because she was thinking of possibly getting pregnant again, had interest in it, but it had been a year since she had stopped taking the birth control, and she still hadn't got her period. So I offered to do a session on her, and I did one of my energy healing massages that I invented. After her first session, she had immediate symptoms of getting her period. So that means like tender breasts, bloating, cramping, but she never got her period. So I gave her her second session, and she stated that when I had my hands over top of her ovaries, she saw with her eyes closed a woman dancing, and not long after that session she had her first period. And to date, I believe she has a couple more kids. I'm grateful for that healing for her and her babies. And I had a client come to me who had some sort of back pain. It was in between his shoulders. It was, again, debilitating to the point that it was affecting his sleep. It was affecting his sports. And he had had it for approximately a year. So he told me that he had been to every single healer or Western medicine healer that you could think of, from chiropractor to physio to acupuncture to massage therapist to cupping to any kind of type of that you know that you can do for your back. Anything you know that you can do, he went and did it. So he was actually referred to me by another client of mine, and he had his first session, and he said that his pain went away 80%, and then after his second session 100%. So that was really cool, just to see how much he had struggled with it with so many other people and for so long, it being a year, and it went away in a couple of sessions. Another really impressive healing that I did was erectile dysfunction. So I had a client who had not had an erection for, I believe, over a year. So this means no getting hard in the morning when you wake up, no jerking off. His dick did not work at all. Zero working. He had been to all the people that you go to when you have this problem, and he had no success, no pills, no psychologist, no sex therapist, nobody could help him. And I recall clearly on the first session that at the end of the energy healing massage, he was laying on his back and the blanket was covering him. I had my hand on his solar plexus, so my left hand on his solar plexus, so it was just here, and my right hand was kind of off the table, off to the side. So when I heal, my hands kind of move on their own, like making weird shapes over the body and beside the body, whatnot. And so my hand started making circles, and every time that my hand made a full circle, remember I'm not touching him whatsoever other than the hand on one left hand on his solar plexus, but every time my right hand would make a full circle to the side, his dick would like push the blanket up. So it was just like, doop. And then I would do another circle and go, doop. He had his eyes closed, and at the end of the session, he said, that was crazy. I don't know what was happening, but it felt like you had like this invisible string and you were like pulling on it saying like, get up. So we had success in healing his ailment or disease as well, erectile dysfunction. So that was awesome. Obviously, that is just horrifying to, you know, wake up one day and your penis just not work. Obviously, that affects so many parts of your life. Most importantly, your relationships. So, I had a lady come to me, and she had a ankle problem. I believe she broke her ankle, if I remember correctly, and it had been over a year since she had broke it, and she had been seeing physiotherapists and had no luck with healing it. And to that day that I saw her, she would go home every night and ice her foot and elevate it. And she even struggled with walking down the stairs. She would walk down the stairs sideways because somehow it was just a little bit easier on her ankle. So I know she was trying to get into a fitness regimen and she wanted to lose weight, and she couldn't because she wasn't able to work out for longer than like 15 minutes or something like that before her ankle would just be excruciating pain, and she just wouldn't be able to continue on. She wouldn't be able to run for long periods of time. She just wasn't able to work out for long periods of time. So it was really crippling her goals for fitness, like, and weight loss. We had her first session. She said that that was the first night that she didn't go home and ice her foot. Second session, I believe she said she didn't ice her foot, and maybe it was something like she worked out for a full hour rather than just her like a short period of like 15-20 minutes. And then on the third session, she said that the pain completely went away. She was walking down the stairs properly, never having iced her foot, and working out for up to 2 hours. So dancing and running and doing things that she never could do before. So that was a pretty cool healing. Another one was a pregnant lady. She had some food aversions and she wasn't able to eat anything but McDonald's, and she wasn't able to sleep properly. So I believe she was taking something for the sleeping and she was just eating McDonald's. So I did a session with her, and that night she stopped taking her medication for sleeping, and then the next day she had her first ever normal meal without throwing up, because that was her problem, was that when she ate normal food she wanted to throw up, or did throw up, I can't remember. She was eating McDonald's because it was the only thing that for some reason she could keep down. Yeah, so that was a pretty cool healing. I had a client with depression. He was on depression medication. He was weaning himself off by minimizing the dosage, like bringing the dosage down. And he said that on his third session that he felt it as being the depression, just the shift of just gone, and he hasn't touched depression medication since. So he's been off his depression medication ever since third session. And he was on it for 7 years, I believe. Well, I did this interesting healing on a friend of mine, and it was to do with her sexual organs and her sexuality. So it was to kind of enhance that. And in the session, she said that she felt aroused. Nothing more than my hands moving over top of her, nothing. Her clothes were on and everything. But afterwards, she said, you know what, I'm horny. I'm gonna go have sex. And she did. And she had her first ever internal orgasm, and she had multiple orgasms. And she says that ever since then she has been having internal orgasms. So that's really awesome for her. I'm happy for her. That's it for this video. So if you have any questions about my energy healing, Reiki healing, faith healing, spiritual healing, ask the question below. Otherwise, have yourself a wonderful day. Thank you.